Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's Expert Chat. We'll be talking about home assistant devices. Can they help kids with learning and attention issues? My name is Andrew Lee, and I'm with the Understood team, and we're really happy to have with us here today Jamie Martin. He's an Understood expert and a guru on everything related to assistive technology. Hi, Jamie.
Hey, what's happening, Andrew?
Great to have you here today. Can you tell some of the parents out there a little bit about your background in assistive technology and how you've been working with some of these home assistant devices?
Yeah, sure. So I've been a teacher, educator for many years, over 20 years now. I was in the mainstream classroom for quite a while. Then I started working with dyslexic children, both on the remediation side and the assistive technology side. So currently I'm an assistive technology consultant. Do lots of work with Understood, but also travel around, work with teachers and students all over the place. And I'm really, really excited about today's chat because we are talking about home speaker devices or smart speaker devices. I have a Google Home right here, and I have a Amazon Echo right here. And I've been working for the last several weeks and trying to figure out how they can help kids with learning and attention issues. And I think you're going to be very happy and surprised with what I found out.
That's really excellent. I'm really looking forward to this, and I think a lot of our parents who have watched you present on other topics related to assistive technology are also really excited. I just want to remind you, if you are out there watching, you can ask a question at any time. Just type it into the chat box or in one of the comments, and we'll get to it as soon as we can. So the first question, Jamie, we're talking about home assistant devices, smart speakers. Can you tell us about what these devices are and, in general, what they do?
Sure. So they're internet-based devices, but as you can see, there's no screen, like a mobile phone or an iPad or something like that. However, Amazon just announced about 2 hours ago that there's a new Echo coming out on the market with a screen, so stay tuned on that one. But they're voice-driven. They connect to your household internet system, and you can ask them questions. You can do things like listen to audiobooks, ask information, like a Google search kind of thing. But you can also connect them to smart home devices like light bulbs that are connected to the internet system or your thermostat in your home. So the idea is that they're always on. They're always on, ready to listen. And all you need to do is give a verbal command, and something great will happen when you do that.
That's really interesting. I mean, for those of us who remember Star Trek or watching, some of these old science fiction TV shows where you could say, computer or something, that's kind of essentially what these are, right?
It absolutely is that. They're designed to be kind of off on the sidelines. They're always listening. There's multiple, microphones in each device, so it can hear you from across the room. So the idea is that you can, wherever you are in your house, you can just ask it to do something, and it will do it for you.
Okay, so right now, I know that you're going to be talking a little bit more about sort of the different models, but just to be even more specific, we're really talking about this Amazon Echo and the Google Home. That's really the options right now in case people have heard of it under a different name. Is that right?
Right. That's right. So on the market right now are the Amazon Echo, which is this guy here. This is actually the Echo Dot, which is a little more affordable than the full-size Echo. And this is the Google Home. So these are the two leaders that are on the market right now. But we're in an exciting time because yesterday Microsoft announced theirs. They're going to call theirs the Microsoft Invoke, and that will use the Cortana voice assistant from the Windows operating system. And there's rumors floating around that Apple will talk about theirs as early as next month at the Worldwide Developers Conference. And that will be Siri-based. So the Siri voice assistant that you might be used to using on your iPhone might be coming to one of these home speaker devices soon there. But for today, we're talking about the Google Home and the Amazon Echo.
Awesome. So let's just dive right into it. You have been testing these devices, thinking about them, how they can help kids with learning and attention issues. I think probably the biggest issue or group of issues, reading and writing. How do these devices help, or how could they help kids with reading and writing issues?
Okay, in several different ways. So one of the main difficulties that kids might have in terms of writing is spelling. Maybe dyslexic kids have particular trouble with spelling words correctly. So if they have to do a handwritten assignment and they come across a word that they have difficulty spelling, they can just ask the device, if it's sitting there on their desk or somewhere else in the room, how to spell a particular word. So let me give you a quick example of that. So we'll start with the echo right here. Actually, hang on one second. I should tell you one more thing. I'm going to mute the microphones for 1 second. So when you talk to them, you kind of alluded to this earlier, Andrew, you have to give kind of a code word or a trigger word. So for the echo, this is the voice assistant in the echo is Alexa. So whenever I want to ask Alexa something, I have to say Alexa and then ask my question or give the command. And for Google Home, the trigger phrase is OK Google. So that's the Google Voice Assistant will respond to that. So here we go.
The mic's back on.
Okay, did you hear that, Andrew?
I did.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure that everybody can hear this. So it's back to spelling. So if I have difficulty spelling the word rhyme, because it begins with the RH and then it has the Y in there, I can say, Alexa, how do you spell rhyme?
Rhyme is spelled R-H-Y-M-E.
And then I can copy it down as I'm ready. Same thing with Google Home. Okay, Google, how do you spell believe?
Believe is spelled B-E-L-I-E-V-E.
And I can copy it down that way there. Homonyms are a little bit tricky, though. So if you ask it how to spell something like beet, there's two different spellings for beet, like beat a drum and the beet that you eat, the vegetable. So I found that what you have to do there is give it a little bit of context. So if I ask Alexa, how do you spell beet?
Beat is spelled B-E-A-T.
Okay, so it gave me the spelling with the EA in it. And if I want to be more specific so that I get the correct spelling for maybe the root vegetable, I can say, Alexa, how do you spell beetroot?
Beetroot is spelled B-E-E-T-R-O-O-T.
Okay, and you can do the same thing with the Google Home. If you give that a little bit of context, maybe an extra word or two words, that will kind of clarify what the confusable word is that you're looking for. It can usually get the correct spelling for you there. It can also help you in terms of reading and maybe reading comprehension. There's a built-in dictionary in both the Google Assistant and in the Amazon Echo. So if I say, Alexa, what does dyslexia mean?
The term dyslexia means impaired ability to learn to read.
Okay, or I could say, Google Home, what does dyslexia mean? Or, okay, Google, what does dyslexia mean?
Dyslexia, a general term for disorders that involve difficulty in learning to read or interpret words, letters, and other symbols, but that do not affect general intelligence.
Okay, I actually like Google's definition a little bit better because it does point out that it does not normally, involve intelligence. We all know that dyslexic kids can certainly be just as smart or smarter than other kids. So that's with reading comprehension, but perhaps kids might have difficulty with decoding, if they have reading issues. So if they come across a word that they're reading, you can use these assistants as kind of spot readers. So I'm going to actually start with the Google Home this time. And here's how I would ask it to tell me how to say arthritis. So if I come across the word arthritis in a piece of text and I don't know what that word is, I can say, okay, Google, how do you pronounce A-R-T-H-R-I-T-S?
A-R-T-H-R-I-T-I-S is pronounced arthritis.
And then if I didn't know what arthritis meant, I could say, okay, Google, what does arthritis mean?
Arthritis, painful inflammation and stiffness of the joints.
And then I can go right back to my reading again. Alexa, on the other hand, will do that same thing. And she thought that I was talking to her for a second. But what we have to do with Alexa is use something called a skill. So let me take a step back for a second. What we've been doing so far is just built right into the voice assistants. So what we might need to do if we need something a little more complex is use something called a skill on the Amazon Echo. So a skill is kind of like an app. You could think of it like an app. So Amazon did not develop the skills. Third-party developers, just like app developers, would develop those. And then you can go into the Alexa app on your phone, which is synced up to your device, and you can enable certain skills. So what I did for these decoding help is find a skill in the Echo skill store, basically, called pronunciations. So I enabled the skill pronunciations, and here's how it would work for the Echo. Alexa, ask pronunciations how to say R-O-U-G-H.
It is pronounced as rough.
So then I could get the word rough, and I could say, Alexa, what does rough mean? Alexa, what does rough mean?
The word rough has numerous uses, including as an adjective, 1, having or caused by an irregular surface.
Alexa,
2,
stop.
of
So if she goes on and you don't need her to, you can just say, Alexa, stop, and she'll stop. Then I can go back to my reading again. Question, Andrew?
Yeah, let me pause you there for a second. I mean, I'm going to say it's pretty cool because I've actually never seen these devices used in this way, and I don't have one. And I think for parents out there, myself included, it's like you see these devices, you're like, wow, that's pretty cool. But then it got me thinking, are they? Is it? Do you, if you're using this with your child in a spelling context or a reading context, you just sort of leave it on their desk? Is that sort of the way people would use it?
I think so. Or if it's in the kitchen because it's helping mom with recipes for dinner, and the kid is at the dining room table doing their writing sentences, they can certainly just chime in and ask it to spell a particular word, and then mom can go back and continue cooking dinner because it can go through the steps of a recipe.
Okay.
So it's really, there's lots of uses for it. I think it's all going to depend on how the app developers, or in this case, the skill developers, what they put together in terms of how useful they can be. It's reminding me a lot of the iPhone and the iPad when they first came out. They didn't do much, right, when they first came out. It was once the app developers started getting into the game and figuring out just how useful these devices could be for people that they really started to take off. The Echo has been around for a couple of years now. The Google Home has only been out since November. But even since then, even those last 6-month period, there's been a huge kind of explosion in terms of what these things can do. And I think we're right at the cusp of really seeing these be very used very widespread and be in everybody's home.
So let me ask another follow-up question. This actually comes from Kirstrum. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. One of our parents just typed that in. Thank you for that question. The question is, how is this really different from using an iPhone, the kind of iPhone that you mentioned, or is it just sort of an early, are we sort of seeing how these develop right now? Like, what's the difference between having this as opposed to, I have my iPhone on as a child on a table and I click it, or I press a button and I say, what's the definition, or, spell out this. I just for Kirstrum to understand what could the advantages be of having these home assistant devices?
I think the advantage is that they're always on and they're always ready to be listening to you. Your phone is either, I can tell you how many times the people in my house have misplaced their phone and are hunting around for it. With one of these devices, they have to be plugged into a wall in order to operate because they're always on all the time. So they're always ready to listen. So particularly for people with maybe attentional issues and the executive functioning issues that go along with that. Great if you're looking for your phone to put something in your calendar, but if you can't find your phone, you're hunting around for your phone for 10 minutes, and then you forget what you need to put in your calendar. A device like this is always ready to listen, and you can put a new event into your calendar using something like the Echo or the Google Home. Actually, Google Home doesn't do calendar events yet, but I would be shocked if we didn't see that in the next a couple of months.
Awesome. And I think it's probably pretty early, as you mentioned, so we're just starting to see some of these functionalities. Now, you talked about spelling. What about reading? Anything there that might be able to help some kids with learning and attention issues on either of these devices?
Yeah, so we talked about the decoding. So if kids need to use either one of these devices as a spot reader, they can ask it either the Google Assistant or Alexa to say how a word is pronounced by spelling it out. But if kids use audiobooks or maybe Kindle books, the Amazon Echo can read those out loud to you. Right now, the Google Home does not support audiobooks or text-to-speech books. But again, I'd be very surprised if we don't see that in the next couple of months. Keep in mind that this is only out since November. So the Echo has had a bit of a head start on Google. So because Amazon also owns Audible, which produces audiobooks, all of those books go right into your Amazon account, and you can access them from your Echo. So I could say something like, Alexa, read Alice in Wonderland.
Getting your book from Audible. Resuming Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, but I'm sure it can't be Mabel, for I know all sorts of things, and she knows such a very little. Besides,
Alexa, stop. So that's the pre-recorded audio from the audiobook in Audible. But it can also read Kindle books that are compatible with text-to-speech. So I can do something like this. Alexa, read High School Dropout in Kindle books.
High School Dropout to Harvard. My Life with Dyslexia by John Rodriguez. Reading from Kindle.
Want to hear an audiobook narrated by a professional actor?
Okay, we're hearing an ad.
And start a free trial.
Picture this. The son of a billionaire, a member of a royal family, the son of the American vice president, the creator of Facebook, and me. What do we have in common? We were all at Harvard at the same time. I'm the odd man out. I shouldn't be here. It's incredibly
Alexa,
unlikely
stop.
that I would...
So actually, the Alexa voice, I think, is even more human-sounding than a lot of text-to-speech voices maybe on a mobile device. So that was reading right from...
Send messages. First register
Alexa,
in your
stop.
Alexa app. Up here. I didn't come from money. My parents
Alexa,
worked
stop.
into
Okay, she's misbehaving.
Sorry, I don't know that. Yes. I wasn't one of the straight A students.
Alexa, stop. Okay, I think it's done. So that was reading from John Rodriguez's book, High School Dropout to Harvard, which I have as a Kindle book. And all that was just in my Amazon account, and I could access it by voice right on the Echo Dot.
That's I think that's I can think of a use right away for that. Reading stories at the end of the day to the kid. My kids want me to read, but sometimes it's like I'm so tired. I wish I could literally just say that to Alexa, please do read this story.
Right.
They might get a kick out of it. Anyway, continue. Sorry, but I just wanted to make that observation.
Okay, so those are audiobooks, and those are books that you would purchase through your Amazon account. If you are a Google Play user, if you're in the Google universe, and you buy Google Play books, those are still in your Google account, but right now we can't access them to be read out loud on the home device. But again, I'd be very, very shocked if we don't see that in the next couple of months. And then reading news. So you can, on both of these devices, you can select a series of news sources. CNN, whatever, NBC News, your local weather, and you can ask them to give you the news rundown at the beginning of the day, so that if you have reading issues, you don't have to struggle over a newspaper or go to 5 different apps on your mobile device. It kind of collates it all together into your little news feed. So you can do something like, Alexa, what's in the news?
Here's your flash briefing. In weather. Right now in Easton, it's 52 degrees with mostly cloudy skies. Today's forecast has clouds and
Alexa,
showers.
stop. So it would give me the weather, then it would give me local news stories, and then I have CNN, I think, hooked up to that one. And then, okay, Google, listen to the news.
Here's the latest news. From Newsy at 10:25 a.m. today.
Hi, I'm Jay Struberg for Newsy with these headlines.
So this is actually a podcast.
Exit polls suggest the Democratic Party's Moon Jae-in is poised to become South
Okay,
Korea's
Google,
next
stop.
president.
So that actually is going into a podcast feed from an organization called Newsy, but then I have like 3 more lined up after that. So it can kind of give you, a rundown of your local news for the day.
That's really great. I know you want to also show some examples for kids with math issues, dyscalculia, as well as ADHD executive functioning. But I do want to take a question from Brooklyn Mama. And I'm going to put it into a little bit context. I'll ask her question first. She asks, does assistive technology help or hurt if teachers or providers are not trained to help? And I think it's getting to maybe her concern. I'm going to just think about what her concern is, that maybe, worried that perhaps maybe the device is like, it's a little, if a parent or child doesn't know how to use it the right way, will it help them? And do you think that there's a potential for any of these devices to maybe distract kids, by if they get to ask Alexa a bunch of different things? What's your take on those kind of concerns?
Certainly these are not devices for school. They're designed to be in your home. Clearly, they would be a huge distraction in a classroom. Even if a kid put their earbuds in and plugged them in so that the speaker wasn't causing a distraction, you still have to activate them by voice, right? So these are home-based devices. So I would not even think about using these in school. But in terms of assistive technology, like maybe an iPad in school, I think if kids are using them correctly, they're using them because they need to. They're not. I've never seen a kid become over-reliant on a piece of assistive technology. They only use the tools that they want to. And you have to think about, which tools are going to be appropriate in a classroom setting, which ones are going to be appropriate in maybe a study hall setting. For example, dictation technology, when you're speaking and the technology is transcribing words onto your screen, that's not appropriate for the middle of a classroom when there's lots of kids around. You might want to use something that you use a keyboard for that, maybe word prediction technology. So I think it really helps. It helps to have an assistive technology person working with you and your child and your teachers. A lot of times it would be great if an AT person was on your child's IEP team, because they can really help you pinpoint first which tools are going to be appropriate and helpful for your particular child, but also which ones are going to be appropriate for the individual environments that your child is going to be in, throughout the day. Do you think that answers the question, Andrew?
No, I think it absolutely does answer the question. Bottom line is you need to have that expertise. Sounds like.
That's right. Yes.
But once you do,
because there's so much assistive technology available these days, and we're getting more and more every single day. So it really does help to enlist the help of a specialist. Could be a special ed teacher, it could be an AT specialist from outside your school district, who really can kind of help guide you through that.
Okay, great. So Brooklyn Mama actually has a follow-up, and I do want to stay with her. I know we're talking about the home assistant devices, these smart speakers, but I also want to make sure we answer her question. Her daughter uses, and maybe it's an observation more than a question, she says her daughter uses an iPad. She was the first in school and the only one. Her providers are not trained. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that that's an issue, and ask Jamie for if you have any thoughts about that. Whatever assistive technology has been placed in the hands of Brooklyn daughter's child, but the providers aren't trained in it. Do you have any thoughts about what the next steps there would be?
So do you think that was an iPad provided by the school and they're not capable of providing support for that child?
I believe that's
yes?
that's the case, yes.
That's a very difficult question. I'm not sure why the school would even give a child a device if they weren't set up to support the child in that device, unless it was just a way to put a Band-Aid on the situation. I don't know. Without knowing more details of this particular family and what's going on in that particular school, I don't feel comfortable venturing any kind of advice for that situation.
Okay,
I would need to know more details from both sides about what's going on there.
So, Brooklyn Mama, I would suggest that you go to the community and ask this question with some more details. You can do that again without your real name, just to get some answers and really get some thoughts about how you can address the situation. Because as Jamie says, it might be very complex, and just want to make sure that we're giving you the right thoughts about what's happening. So let's move on, Jamie. I know we don't have a ton of time left, but I know these home assistant devices can also be used for math issues and for executive functioning organization. Can you just give us a few examples in both of those about of using some of the devices and what they can do?
Yep, sure. So for kids with math issues, you can use the home speaker devices as calculators. And they can do fairly basic computations. Can't get too complex with it, but let me give you a couple examples. Alexa, what is the square root of 25?
The square root of 25 is 5.
Alexa, what is $1,232 minus $456?
The difference between $1,232 and $456 is $776.
Okay, so Alexa does fairly well on it. Okay, Google, what is 2 times 8 minus 7?
The answer is 9.
Okay, Google, what is 32% of $500?
The answer is it's $160.
Okay, so basic calculations that way. They can also both handle unit conversions fairly well. Alexa, how many ounces is 58 pounds?
58 pounds is 928 ounces.
Okay, Google, how many degrees Fahrenheit is 25 degrees Celsius?
25 degrees Celsius equals 77 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay, and then if you are maybe doing geometry and you forget a formula, Alexa does a great job of being able to identify formulas. Alexa, how do you find the area of a circle?
The area of a circle is pi times the circle's radius squared.
So it gives you pi r squared. Okay, Google, how do you find the area of a circle?
Sorry, I'm not sure how to help with that yet.
So Google Home is not quite there yet in terms of the mathematical formulas. However, Google Home does a really good job of factorization. So, okay, Google, what are the factors of 48?
According to Find the Factors, 48 is a composite number. 48 equals 1 by 48, 2 by 24, 3 by 16, 4 by 12, or 6 by 8. Factors of 48 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, 16, 24, 48. Prime factorization, 48 equals 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 by 3, which can also be written 48 equals x3.
So that's probably way more information than we needed, but it certainly gives you a complete answer there. There's also a skill for the Echo called 1, 2, 3 Math, which will give you kind of like a math quiz for basic math equations. That same skill is actually available for the Home too. The Home does not have skills, that what they call, Google is calling those actions. So they're both apps basically. So the Echo has skills, the Google Home has actions. The actions are all on by default, so you can't decide which ones you want to activate or which ones you don't. But they both have this app, for the lack of a better word, called 1, 2, 3 Math, which will basically just give a verbal quiz for basic math skills. So kids can certainly use that for kind of fun practice too. For kids with attentional issues or executive functioning issues, both devices can be used to set timers and to set alarms. So Alexa, set a timer for 5 seconds.
5 seconds, starting now.
Alexa, stop. Okay, Google, set a timer for 3 seconds.
Sure, 3 seconds. Starting now.
Okay, Google, stop. So if your child needs to read for 15 minutes independently for school, they can certainly set a timer that way. And mom, you can use it to set a timer in the kitchen. Kind of a multi-use device here. You can also set an alarm. So you can set an alarm to wake up in the morning. You can set an alarm for anything else and use it that way. So time management, they're very good for. The Echo you can use to create to-do lists and shopping lists. So Alexa, remind me to study for the English quiz. Alexa, remind me to study for the English quiz.
I added study for the English quiz to your to-do list.
Alexa, put practice trumpet on my to-do list.
I've added practice trumpet to your to-do list.
Alexa, what's on my to-do list?
You have 2 to-dos. Practice trumpet. Study for the English quiz.
And then what the cool thing is both of those things on my to-do list have also automatically gone over to my Alexa app on my phone with a little checkbox next to each one. So, if I'm thinking of something that I need to do, I can just say it verbally if I can't find my phone or I can't, want to go across the room to get my phone, or, whatever. But later on, you can check your to-do list on your phone and check off each item. Same thing with a shopping list. So shopping lists aren't really going to help for school, but maybe they'll help other people in the house. If you're looking through your fridge, you can add items to your shopping list. It'll automatically put it on your Alexa app. You take your phone to the store and start checking off items when you're shopping. To-do lists are not supported on the Google Home.
Removal of former President Park Geun-hye over corruption.
Okay, Google, stop.
The early election.
I don't know what I said. You can start reading the news, but I did. So to-do lists are not supported by Google Home at this point. However, there's an action, a Google action called Todoist. There's actually an app called Todoist, which is a to-do list, and you can use that on the Google Home. So you can do either one there. And then one more thing I want to show you is calendar events. So if I wanted to add an event to my calendar, I'm using Google Calendars for today. So Alexa, add calendar event. Alexa, add calendar event.
Sure. What day and time?
Sunday, May 14.
For what time?
1 o'clock.
Is that 1 o'clock in the morning or in the afternoon?
Afternoon.
And what's the name of the event?
Picnic and ice cream.
I'll schedule pick and ice cream on Sunday, May 14th at 1 p.m., okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I've added that.
When you start talking to them often, you start, thinking about your manners and being polite. So that added it to my calendar. I can check my calendar now on my phone or on my iPad, and that event will be there. Or I can ask the Echo to read back my events for that day. Alexa, what's on my calendar for May 14?
On Sunday, May 14th, there are 2 events. There's Mother's Day, which lasts all day, and at 1 p.m. there's pick and ice cream.
Didn't quite hear picnic. Pick and ice cream. The Google Home will read back calendar events, but you can't add them yet. Again, that's one of those things that eventually I'm positive will be there on this device. Right now, you can only add events by voice over here on the Echo. So you see, people with organizational issues, people with executive functioning issues, lots of different tools on these home speakers that can help out with that.
Okay, great. That's a great demonstration, Jamie. Really appreciate it. I think that just gives, our parents a little bit of sense of what's out there. Now, really briefly, what kind of cost are we talking about when we're talking about either of these devices? How much do they run if you buy them?
There's a huge discrepancy between the different varieties. On the low end, you can get an Amazon Echo Dot, which is the small version, this guy right here, for $50. So if you want to just kind of dip your toes into this whole world, that might be the most economical way to go. It is the most economical way to go. This doesn't have a high-quality speaker to it, but you can see today I have it actually connected to a Bluetooth speaker. So if you have a Bluetooth speaker in your house, you don't need to worry about the fact that this doesn't have a high quality speaker. So that's $50. The Google Home is, I just have to look at my notes real quick, $130. So that's the next one up on the ladder. The full scale Echo with the speaker, it's about this tall, is $180. However, it's on sale right now for $140. And then the Echo Show, which is the one they just announced this morning, has a touchscreen video screen for video calling and things like that. That's going to be like the high end. That's going to be about $230. We don't know what the cost of the Microsoft one is going to be yet, or the Apple one, but you can probably be pretty confident that the Apple version is going to be on the high end too.
Yeah, that's great. Nice amount of price points. I'll confess that when I look at some of those, I'm like, I would never use those, but I actually felt the same way about the iPhone when it first came out.
Me too.
And now I look at it as indispensable. I think a lot of people, or not just the iPhone, but any sort of smartphone, digital phone, really indispensable for both my own personal stuff or assistive technology. So this is really the wave of the future, maybe. We have one last question I want to get to, Jamie. This is not related to home assistant devices, but I want to make sure that this person gets their question answered. This is anonymous. They basically have gotten doing math homework. The child's doing math homework. The school says they don't have assistive technology to read the math homework. I think she's getting assistive technology to read other things, but not basically whatever the questions are. And you know, this mother reads math homework aloud to her child, but she's really looking for some sort of assistive technology that might do that. Is there a way, if she gets a worksheet with like word problems on it, that she can have something that would read it aloud to her child?
Sure, yeah. So word problems are easy for text-to-speech to handle. So there's a variety of text-to-speech options available. Most mobile devices have it built in. So your iPad will have it built in. Your Android device also has it built in. Lots of resources ununderstood in terms of specific products that you can try out for that. There's Chrome extensions if your child uses a Chromebook. So word problems are fairly easy. Once you get into like complex equations, reading that math out loud is a little trickier. And there's other tools for that, but I think it sounds like this family is focused on the word problems at the moment.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So definitely try a text-to-speech tool for that.
Okay, great. That's a great one. So that was your question. It was from an. If that was your question out there, hopefully that helps. If not, definitely follow up in the community and ask a little bit more. Give us a little more details about where that word problem is. If it's a worksheet, and Jamie and other experts can hop in there and let you know a little bit more. So thank you so much, Jamie, for this chat. It's been really interesting to see how these devices can work and what they might do for kids with learning and attention issues. Really appreciate you sharing with us today.
Yeah, definitely keep an eye on it. I firmly believe that this is the next thing to come through the assistive technology channels.
Awesome. And for our parents out there, thanks for joining us. Again, you can find this chat and all of our other chats, future and the ones we've archived in the past at u.org/calendar. If you want to continue the conversation, please go to u.org/community. Thanks for joining us and have a great day.